Shalom, all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Kakadash. Double honors and praises to the Apostle Elders of GMS that taught me this truth. And shalom to the Akim that has in their life daily, pushing this truth with sincerity, and has in their life a daily doing this work. And to the Akwach listening, learning shalom. Once again, I'm doing a lesson on I'm back again. I now GMS from GMS Detroit Bar Camp, and this is just a quick little lesson on being a man, like King David. Even when King David was a young man, he was still a brave man. And when you go into David and Goliath, the proportions of Goliath, matter of fact, let me see what, okay. Let's go up to the proportions of Goliath before the fight. Okay. This is 1 Samuel 17 and 2. This so you get understanding of the size of Goliath. 1 Samuel 14 and 2. For you get the full context of and Saul and the men of Israel were gathered together and pitched by the valley of Eha, and set the battle in array against the Philistines. And the Philistines stood on a mountain on one side, and Israel stood on a mountain on the other side, and there was a valley between them. And there went out a champion out of the camp of the Philistines named Goliath of Gath, who height was 6 cubits and a span, and he had a helmet of brass upon his head, and he was armed with a coat of mail, and the weight of the coat was 5,000 shekels of brass, and he had glees of brass upon his legs, and a target of brass between his shoulders, and a staff of his spear was like a beaver's beam, and his spear weighed 600 shekels of iron, and had one bearing a shield went before him. And he stood and cried unto the army of Israel and said unto them, why are ye come out to set your battle in array? Am not I a Philistine, and ye servants to Saul? Choose a man for you, and let him come to me. And if ye are able to fight with me and to kill me, then I will be your servant. But if I prevail against him and kill him, then ye shall be our servants and serve us. And this is the challenge that Goliath put before the children of Israel, and he was hold on. His height was 6 cubits in a span. So let's see. Six CUBIT and a span into feet and inches. Damn. Goliath was 9 feet and 9 and 3/4 foot tall. So he was like 9 foot 9 inches tall. Damn. He was a big dude. And man. Kind and he was 9 foot 9 inches. Damn. And he had a helmet of brass upon his head, and he was armed with a coat of mail, and his weight was and the weight of the coat was 5,000 shekels of brass, and he had gleaves of brass upon his legs, and a target of brass between his shoulders, and a staff of a spear was like a beaver's beam, and the spear had a weight of 600 shekels of iron. Man, all this shit that he had on, and man, and he is 9 foot 9, and the Philistines said, I defy the armies of Israel this day. Give me a man that we may fight together. And then Saul and all of Israel heard those words of the Philistine, and they were dismayed and greatly afraid. Now David was the son of that Ephrathite of Bethlehem, Judah, whose name was Jesse, and he had 7 sons, and the man that went among men for an old man in the days of Saul. And 3 of his elder sons of Jesse went and followed Saul to the battle, and the names of the sons of the 3 Sauls that went to the battle was Eliab, his firstborn. Next was unto him Habbenadab, and the third was Shammaha. And David was the youngest of the 3 eldest, David was the youngest, and the 3 elders followed Saul. But David went and returned from Saul to feed his father's sheep at Bethlehem. And when the Philistines drew near the morning and evening, the presence of himself 40 days. And Jesse said unto David, his son, take now for thy brethren an ephah of this parched corn and these 10 loaves, and run to the camp of thy brethren, and carry these 10 cheese unto the captains of their thousands, and look how thy brothers fare, and take their pledge. And that's how David got in there amongst all the men that was going to war. So to get it down to the way that David felt when he wasn't scared at all about matter of fact Goliath, but matter of fact here it go right here. As he talked with them, behold, this skipping down to 1 Samuel 17 and 23. As he talked with them, behold, there came upon them a champion of the Philistines of Gath, Goliath by the name, out of the armies of the Philistines, and spake according to the same words. And David heard them. And all the men of Israel, when they saw the man, fled from him and were so afraid. And the men of Israel said, have ye seen this man that came up? Surely to defy Israel, he is come up, and it shall be that a man who kill him, the king will enrich him with great riches, and will give him his daughter, and to make his father's house free in Israel. And David spoke to the men that stood by him, saying, what shall be done to the man that killed this Philistine, and take away the reproach from Israel, and for whom this uncircumcised Philistine, that he should defy the armies of the living power? And when the people answered him after this manner, saying, so shall it be done to the man that killed him. And Eliab, his eldest brother, heard, and when he spake unto the men, Eliab's anger was kindled against David. And when he said, why comest down hither, and with whom hast thou left those few sheep in the wilderness? I know thy pride and the haughtiness of thy heart, for thou art come down that thou art mighty to see the battle. And David said, what have I now done? Is there not a cause? and never once did David have fear in his heart at all. And he turned from him. From him forward to another, and spake after the same manner. And the people answered him again after the former manner. And when the words of the were heard, David spoke, and they rehearsed them before Saul, and he sent for him. And David said to Saul, let no man's heart fail because of him. Let thy servant go and fight with this Philistine. And Saul said to David, thou art not able to go a fight against this Philistine, to go against this Philistine to fight with him, for thou art but a youth, and he is a man of war from his youth. And David never had never been in a war before, ever. And David said unto Saul, thy servant kept his father's sheep, and there came a lion and a bear, and took a lamb out of the flock, and I went after him and smote him and delivered out of his mouth. And then when he rose against me, I caught him by his beard and smote him and slew him. Thy servant slew both the lion and the bear, And this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them, seeing he has defiled the armies of the living power. And man, even as a young man, never had been in a war ever before in his life. King David was this is before he was King David. He was a brave man. And David said, moreover, Yahweh that delivered me out of the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear, he will deliver me out of the hand of this Philistine. And Saul said, go, and Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai be with thee. And Saul armed David with his armor, and he put a helmet of brass upon his head. Also he armed him with a coat of mail. And David girded his sword upon his armor, and he essayed to go, for he had not proved it. And David never fought a war. He never fought with a sword or any instrument of war. And David said unto Saul, I cannot go with these, for I have not proved them. And David put them off of him. And he took his staff in his hand and chose 5 smooth stones out of a brook and put them in a shepherd's bag, which he had. Even in a crisp, and his sling was in his hand, and he drew near the Philistine. And the Philistine came and drew near unto David, and the men that bare the shield went before him. And when the Philistine looked about and he saw David, he disdained him. He dissed David. For he was but a youth and ruddy and of a fair countenance. And the Philistine said unto David, am I a dog that thou comest to me with staves? And the Philistine cursed David by the gods. And the Philistine said to David, come to me, I will give thee thy flesh unto the fowls of the air and to the beasts of the field. And then David said to the Philistine, thou comest to me with a sword and a spear and with a shield, but I come to thee in the name of Yahweh of hosts, the power of the army of Israel, whom thou hast defied. And this day Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai will deliver thee into my hands, and I will smite thee and take thy head from thee, and I will give the carcass of the hosts of the Philistines this day unto the fowls of the air and to the wild beasts of the earth, that all the earth may know that there is a power in Israel. And all of this assembly shall know that Yahweh saved not with a sword and a spear, for the battle is of Yahweh's, and he will give you unto our hands. And it came to pass, when the Philistine rose and came and drew nigh and met David, that hastened and ran towards the army to meet the Philistine, David put his hand in his bag and took thence a stone and slang it and smote the Philistine in his forehead, that the stone sunk into his forehead and fell upon his face to the earth. So David prevailed over the Philistine with a sling and with a stone, and smote the Philistine and slew him. But there was no sword in David's hand. Therefore David ran upon the Philistine and took his sword and threw it out of its sheath, thereof, and slew him, and cut off his head wherewith. And when the Philistines saw their captain was dead, they fled. And the men of Israel rose and shouted and pursued the Philistines until they came to the valley, to the gates of Ekron. And when and the wounded of the Philistines fell down by the way of Sha'araim, even unto Gath and to Ekron. And hey, that's how brave David was when he was fighting a damn near a 9 foot. He was 9 foot 9 inches tall man. Goliath was a big giant man, and man, a man of war. David not fought a war ever before in his life, and David was a man. And the scriptures say even when Job was going through all his troubles and all that, hey, the Most High even told Job to be a man. You know, and that's just one example on being a man. You know, but I'm gonna grab some scriptures to follow that up. Matter of fact, this is the Most High telling Job. After he lost everything, his wealth, his family, and everything, the Most High told him, gird up now thy loins like a man, for I demand of thee, and answer me. And the Most High demanded him to be a man. This how we supposed to be. A famine's about to come hit this land. All kind of troubles is about to hit us people, us children of Israel, so-called Afro-American, Latinos, and Native Americans. When Jacob trouble hit us, the Most High is still going to ask for us to be a man. Demand us to be a man. In fact, Isaiah 46:8. Remember this, to show yourself men. Bring it again to mind, O ye transgressors. That's another one when the Most High say, remember this, show yourself men. There's more examples in the scriptures of behaving like a man. You know, showing yourself as a man. Matter of fact, First Maccabees 2:64. Wherefore ye, my sons, be valiant, and show yourself men in the behalf of the law, for by it ye shall obtain glory. And this is showing yourself as men for the law, statutes, commandments that the Most High gave us as an Israelite man. You know, this is 1 Corinthians 13:11. When I was a child, I spake as a child, I understood as a child, and I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put childish things away. You know, hey, you supposed to be, if you're a man, hey, you supposed to not be acting like a little child, all afraid and scared. Hey, matter of fact, this is uh, uh, um, uh, 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 um, matter of fact, because the Most High haven't put the spirit of fear in us at all. Matter of fact, I'm looking for that right now, and that's gonna be my last scripture. Where you at? Where you at? Yeah, in fact, let me see if I can find it this way. SPIRFEAR. This is 2 Timothy 1:7. For Yahweh have not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. And that's my last scripture. Behave as a man. Behave as a man. The Most High haven't put a spirit of fear on us. That's the reason why we're on the highways and hedges, constantly enduring doing this work. Long suffering doing this work. Man, we almost out of here. Man, things is about to come and happen to us. Famine's about to hit this land. Wherever you at, it's gonna be a worldwide famine. And matter of fact, that's gonna be my next video that I'm gonna do on the famine that's about to hit this land. Men gonna be crying like babies when that famine hit. They ain't gonna be able to eat. They ain't gonna be able to do shit. Cannibalism gonna be happening again. Don't be afraid. Don't be fearful. Be a man during all these times, man. Have faith that Yahweh Bashim Yahushai will get you through this, just like Yahweh Bashim Yahushai got King David through that fight with the lion and the bear, and when he smoked Goliath. You know, I pray that this video was edifying, and with that said, all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashem Kakadash. A double honor to praises to the Apostle Elders DMS that taught me this truth, and stay steadfast. Be a man. We don't have the spirit of fear in us, man. Don't be afraid. We ain't got nothing to be afraid for. Shalom.